plays the major role, and during these discussions, our main aim is to get rid of avidya, or understand what is ignorance. So understanding what is ignorance gets rid by understanding what is ignorance, we are able to get rid of ignorance, thus being able to be enlightened and to understand the reality of this world. We have done various good or meritorious deeds during our sansaric journey, and they are the things that led us here. Because of those meritorious deeds only, we are able to discuss this Dhamma. So let us agglomerate all the meritorious power that was generated during the sansaric journey towards doing good towards Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, praising Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. May all those meritorious power agglomerate together to create an environment which would help us to understand the Arya Dhamma, to understand, to be enlightened, to fulfill the Nibbana pathway and to get rid of suffering. Accept this blessing with the sadhukar.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So during this stay, during the sansaric stay, we must have done various unethical deeds because of our gratifications, because of us chasing after these sensual pleasures. We have done various unethical bad things in order to get control of those sensual pleasures. We have hurt people, we have lied people, we have lied to people, and we have stolen from people. We have done various unethical deeds. By that we have done, because of that, sometimes we may have done wrong things to Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha as well. So if we have done bad, wrong things to anybody, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha or anybody, let us acknowledge that we have done something bad, and let us determine not to do those unethical deeds, 10 immoral actions again. And by that, we are pledging that we are keeping our sankhara or actions, bodily actions, as well as our words and our thoughts clear and clean. And we are getting rid of all the bad and unethical things that would eventually increase the burden in samsara. So with that thought in mind, accept this with the sadhukar.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So if anybody has any questions, most of you have, I saw that some of you have posted some questions in the chat. If you have, but it's better if you could elaborate on those questions, because then we can have a good discussion. So either you can speak up or you can put it into the chat, and we can first clarify the get an understanding about the question, and then we can proceed with the answer.
I believe there were two sets of questions, one from Miss Kim and one from the other name I'm just trying to read. It goes as Brufen. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing that correctly, but there were two questions, and if I believe Miss Kim is here with us, maybe she can bring her question forward if the other person is not here with us today. Thero, may I read the question that...
that would be better.
Yeah, that particular question might be clear enough for us to take forward. The question is in two parts. The first question brought forward by Ms. Kim is, it's asking what are the Vitakka Vicara, and connected to that same question it's asking what's the difference between Vitakka and Vinnana. If there is a difference, please let us know. The first question is, what is Vitakka Vicara, and is there a difference between Vitakka and Vinnana?
Yeah. So when it comes to Vitakka Vicara, so we are dealing with, actually we encounter these two words when we are describing dhyanas. So dhyana there are four states of Samma Samadhi. So Samma Samadhi, we discussed what is Samma Samadhi during our last discussions. So in the Noble Eightfold Pathway, there are 8 sectors. So there are 8 components. In those components, the last component, which is a result of other 7 components being together, is called Samma Samadhi. So we could simply say that the same something like concentration, but it's a bit different than concentration. So and we discuss what it was. So this Samma Samadhi has 4 stages. So first one is Prathama Jhana. Prathama Jhana means first Jhana, and then the second Dhyana, third Dhyana, and fourth Dhyana. So first, the qualities of first Dhyana is called as with Savitakkang, Savicharang, Vivekajang, Pritisukang, Pratamajjana. So that is Prathama Dhyana or first Dhyana. So it has 5 main qualities. First one is Savitakka, second one is Savichara, third one is Priti, fourth one is Sukha, and fifth one is Ekagrata. So in this, what is known as Savitakka and Savichara. So Vitakka, Vichara, and there are now we had new terms as Savitakka and Savichara. So there's a slight difference between the two. So Vitakka Vichara. First, if we consider about Vitakka Vichara, Vitakka, and Vichara. So these two go together. So Vitakka means something like we are trying to hang on to something as thought, and Vichara means we are exploring in that particular thought. So that's the difference between the two. So first, let's say we think about something. So when we think about something, we usually think in our heads. So if we can think how that is being done. So let's say we are going to the kitchen, and we are our thought process. We become hungry, and our thought process goes like, I should go to the kitchen and see whether what's there in the kitchen. So first, if we divide the two, first one is when the person becomes hungry. So the Vitakka here is the main idea of the person becoming hungry. So on that, then he elaborates on that by trying to locate the kitchen and trying to find out where the food is. So when you are doing that, you are saying that out loud in your head. So that's called Vitakka Vicara. So say this sermon can be done in my head. Only that can be heard to myself. Nobody can hear it. It's like putting mute on this side. So you can just so you don't know what is in my head. What am I speaking of? It's in my head, and it's something like that. So if it is put out in words, then that is also called Vitakka Vicara. That's the difference. So now I am having Vitakka and Vicara in a particular way. So I am thinking about, or I am hanging on to a main subject and elaborating on that subject. So Vitakka and Vicara. So if I stop moving my mouth, still I can do it in my head. So that's also called Vitakka Vicara. So it's not the movement of the mouth. It's not the movement, or it's not the bodily movement that we are talking about. We are talking about the what you call talking inside our heads, whether it is put out in a voice or not. So that's called Vitakka Vicara. So if I gave you a example, it's like something like this. So if we get a bell, a big bell hanging on a roof, and we are just knocking on that bell with a stick. So it starts with the exploding sound, and then it continues to resonate. So this first exploding sound is like Vitakka, and the resonating sound is like Vicara. So if you know that when a bell is rung, first you hear the sound because of the collision of the two objects, outer surface of the bell and the thing that we used to hit the bell. So when these two are collided together, then a sound, a sharp and a big sound is produced. And after that, what happens? Then follows a resonating sound, and we can hear it for few seconds. So that part can be compared with Vicara, and the exploding part, or the big sound that comes just after the collision, and that is compared to Vitakka, and that is how Vitakka Vicara is. So we have a main thought, and we proceed to explore that thought, or we proceed to go deep in that thought. So that's called Vitakka Vicara. So then what is Savitakka Savicara? Savitakka Savicara, the Vitakka Vicara can be anything. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be anything. But when it comes to Savitakka Savicara, it's always about Dhamma. It's about Nekkhamma Sankalpana, Avihimsa Sankalpana, and Avyapada Sankalpana. So we talked about what is called Samma Sankappa. So Samma Sankappa is another component in the Eightfold Pathway. So in that component, we discussed what Kama Sankalpana is, how something becomes Kama, and Ama means Nibbana. So Kama means the opposite of Nibbana, and Nekkhamma Sankalpana means again opposite of Kama. So that means again get something related to non-attachment. So when there's Kama Sankalpana, our thoughts are to engage with sensual pleasures. That means good sounds, good images, good smells, good tastes and touches. So that's our aim when we have Kama Sankalpana or Kama thoughts. When there's Nekkhamma Sankalpana, Nekkhamma thoughts, that's the opposite. So So we see the what do you call the essenceless and meaningless nature of these objects, images, sounds, and other stuff. So when we see the meaningless and essenceless nature of sensual pleasures, we tend to get rid of those items. So then the thought process that follows, or thought process pertaining to that kind of a mindset is called nekkamma sankalpana. So there's avyapada sankalpana. So what is vyapada sankalpana? So vyapada sankalpana, vyapada thoughts are some thoughts because of a conflicting mind. That happens because of a conflicting mind, maliciousness, or angry nature, or a feared nature, something because things did not go in your way. So you wanted to enjoy those sensual pleasures, but things didn't go right, and because of that, now you are in a second version, or your mind shifts into a second version, and in this version, what your aim is, you become violent, conflicted, and you become malicious, and that is called vyapada. And now the thoughts that we are referring here is avyapada, and that is the opposite of vyapada. So you know what's the opposite of vyapada? So it's a kind and metta, the thoughts full of metta. So you do not have any harming thoughts in your mind when you have avyapada sankalpana, and you have the opposite. You actually care for that person. You actually has metta, thoughts full of metta. So that is avyapada sankalpana. And then there's vihimsa sankalpana, avihimsa sankalpana. So vihimsa sankalpana means hurting like thoughts. So you have some thoughts like you hurting somebody, and that's called hinsa. That's called hinsa or vihimsa. When it comes to avihimsa, you have the opposite of that. So when you have those kinds of thoughts, avyapada sankalpana, avihimsa sankalpana, and nekkamma sankalpana, when you have those kinds of thought, your thought process, what you have in your mind is savitakka, because you have those kinds of thoughts, and when you go deep in those thoughts, when you think laterally in those thoughts, you get savichara, and you have savitakka and savichara. That's what is that is what is there in the first dhyana. So you have savitakka and savichara. You have good, clean, pure thoughts. You have nekkamma thoughts, opposite of kama. You have avyapada thoughts, opposite of vyapada, and you have avihimsa thoughts, opposite of vihimsa. So you have those things in the first dhyana, which is savitakka and savichara. Because of those two, savitakka and savichara, starts priti and sukha. Those are two components that occurs because of these pure and pure thoughts. Because of these pure thoughts, you become happy. There's mental happiness, which is called priti sukha. So you can feel it because the mental happiness or the mental pleasure is so high, you can feel it even in your body, in your face and in your body. So priti is felt in the face. So you get a smiling face, kind of a face, and you can feel the priti in your face. And there's sukha, which can be felt all over your body, which is a very pleasant feeling in your body, a very nice feeling that can be felt in your body. So there's savitakka, savichara, priti, sukha, and the final one is ekagrata. Ekagrata means this savitakka, savichara, and priti, sukha, these four qualities last continuously without breaking throughout. That is called ekagrata. When it lasts for a period of time, that is called ekagrata. So you have Savitakka, Savichara, Priti, Sukha and Ekagrata. In that, I went extra to explain you what is Savitakka and Savichara as well. But the question was what is Vitakka and Vichara. So what is Vitakka and Vichara? It can be anything. It can be Savitakka, Savichara as well. When you call it Vitakka, Vichara, because it's the broader term. Everything falls into Vitakka and Vichara. But when it's Savitakka, those special things that can be only seen in the Arya discipline are there in Savitakka and Savichara. That's why those become Arya Dhyanas. So when it is compared with Vinnana, Vinnana is something else. So Vinnana is actually a very broad term. So it should be. So the problem with explaining this is, so Vinnana at some places gives another one meaning, and in another place it gives a totally different meaning. So we have to think what is Vinnana according to the context, according to the things, according to what is explained. So let's say a Vinnana is, we can simply say it is consciousness. So let's say when our eyes and an image reflecting light rays from an image falls onto our eye, what happens is our ability to see happens. So the sight occurs when an object and our eyes meet together. Or actually not the object, but the light rays reflecting from the object. So when these two collides together, the ability to see happens there. So Vinnana is when it says Chakku is the eye, and when Chakku meets the Rupa, what happens is Chakku Vinnana occurs, or a mind that or a mindset that happens or occurs emanates because of eye and the object collides. So when these two happens together, then Chakku Vinnana is the result. So likewise, when the sound and our ear, when those two collides together, the result is Sota Vinnana, or the consciousness regarding hearing. So likewise, you have consciousness regarding smell, consciousness regarding taste, and consciousness regarding touch, as well as the consciousness regarding thoughts. When those are the 6 Vinnanas you have. But actually, though you divide it into 6 parts, actually it's the same. It's the same thing that you divided into 6 parts, depending on what gave which consciousness. But it's actually consciousness we are talking about, or Vinnana. So let's say it can be example like this can be given to explain this. So let's say there's a fire, and you can create this fire with firewood. Then you say that it's a fire made of firewood. Then you can put gasoline or something and make a fire, and you say that you call it fire made of gasoline. You can use paper or something like what do you call gases. You burn gas, so you say fire made of gas. but it's the same fire, no difference. It's a fire. But depending on what made the fire, you said that it's gasoline fire, it's firewood, made of firewood, gaseous fire, or whatever it is. Just like that, you have 6 consciousness, but it's actually the same consciousness, but depending on what gave which consciousness, you call it Chakkus Vinnana, Sota Vinnana, Gana Vinnana, Jiva Vinnana, Kaya Vinnana, and Mano Vinnana for the 6, from top to bottom respectively. So those are the Vinnanas. So Vinnana is not Savitakka Savichara. Those are 2 different things. In Savitakka Savichara, you think in your head out loud. You use a language to do that. But for I to collide and give you a consciousness, you don't need a language. You don't need to put it into words in your head. That doesn't happen. But when it comes to Savitakka Savichara, that's a totally different aspect. So actually Vinnana, I actually covered only one aspect of Vinnana, but there are different types of Vinnana. When you divide it to what do you call Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Vinnana, that Vinnana is also about consciousness, but when you talk about Vinnana Skandha, several things adds up, and the story or the meaning changes a little bit. So we'll try to explain it. We'll not try to explain you all the Vinnanas at once. We'll just try to understand, and we'll try to get rid of the suffering we have in our lives. And during that, when we are doing that, we'll encounter these words, and at those places, we'll try to elaborate or understand the meaning of those terms. When that is done, it would be very practical, and you would be able to understand, and the understanding would be deeper. It's not like we have to memorize all this. It's only about understanding. It's only about increasing our wisdom. It's not about thinking, or it's not about trying to memorize these things and trying to by heart it. It's not about it. It's about trying to get rid of all the sufferings or all the problems in our life. And when we are doing that, we would definitely, of course, we would need some terminology. And when those things pop up, when the new terminology pop up, at that point, we will try to understand what is what. So, if you have any questions about the answer, or if you need more explanations, you can ask. And is that the only question you asked, or is there more? I cannot remember.
Thero, for that particular question from the participant, it was the only question. It was a separate question submitted by another member, but I don't think the person, he was logged in earlier, but I don't see him in the list. So maybe we can take up the questions from those who are here. And I believe we may have just received a question. Let me just quickly look. Yes, Dr. Jong has asked a question. Thero, shall I read it out? Unless there is a question from the previous one to take up from Ms. Kim, which you just explained, Thero. Okay, I think, okay, sorry, the question is actually from Ms. Kim, referring to I'll read it out, Thero. It says, what if the mind thinks that the grasping the object is cumbersome and avoids it? What if the mind thinks that the grasping of object is cumbersome and avoids it? That's the question number 1. I'll read question 2 also to see whether it's connected, Thero. I'm reading as it comes.
I think they are not connected.
Yes, there are separate terms.
Yeah,
they're not
connected.
Shall we take the first one and then...
Yeah, we'll first take the first one and we'll try to sort it out.
Sure.
So the first question was again, what if the mind thinks that grasping the object is cumbersome and avoids it? The term cumbersome we don't know what is explained by the word cumbersome. So it can be the correct meaning or it can be the wrong one. So there's a very fine line between asanya and arya dhamma. So what happens in asanya? We'll try to understand what happens in asanya state, and then we would try to understand what is being practiced by Aryans. So what happens to a person who is meditating to become asanya is he would see things. Actually the process of seeing is like a river. So we continuously see things. So we can experience this very well when we are outside in a busy city, looking at a busy road. So everything moves, vehicles move, and everything moves. So when we are looking at this, it's like a movie, which can be a real-time move. We can see it, and it goes with time. It's like the tape, or when there's a movie, there's a tape. So this tape continuously moves or rolls from one end to other. So when that is, then when the process is happening, we can see a picture or we can see a movie or moving pictures. So likewise, this in our lives also, when we are opening our eyes, these images, it moves from future to present and to the past, and we are just watching it and we cannot do anything about it. There's a river that flows from future to past, and we are just seeing the moment, fraction of a moment. And for eyes also it's like that, for ears also it's like that, for all the 6 organs, internal organs, we are experiencing these external organs in a similar manner. So what asanya would do is, he would not like to see things. There's no a rational explanation behind it. Why he should do it. He would just find it peaceful, and he would not even look for good images, bad images, or neutral ones. He would just, it's a kind of a samadhi, or it's a kind of a meditation you do. You try to practice it, then you do not get inputs. You try to forcefully stop the inputs that are coming from your eyes, from your ears, from your nose, tongue, body, and your mind. Then because of the energy or bhava energy, karmic energy that is created because of these sankhara or because of these actions, create a whole new world that is full of bodies with freezed minds. The mind is freezed because they That is what they practice during the stay as a human being, as a sentient being. Then as a human, what they tried was they tried to freeze their mind by stopping inputs from eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, and they stopped even thinking. When you are actually, what they do is they try to stop thinking without any other rational explanation. So when they do it, they gradually are able to get rid of the inputs coming from eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body as well. So finally, thought process also stops, and their mind freezes, but their body is still there in this world. So when they try to practice this habit as a human, they create a karmic energy, or an energy is being built up, where they would go to the plane of Brahmas, which is in the fourth dhyana state. And at this state, in this asanya nature, what is there is that in that world there's a whole new world of these asanya people, where they have the body and a freezed mind, where this lasts for about 500 eons. Eon is a very big time period. If you search for the analogy of an eon, it's like the usual analogy, or the usual explanation of the analogy is something like this. There's a box of what do you call I can't remember the name of the seeds, but the mustard seeds. So there's a box of mustard seeds, and the parameters of this box are: the height is 16 miles, the depth is 16 miles, and the width is 16 miles. So a cube of 16 miles. So full of mustard seeds are there, and for 100 years, one mustard seed is taken out. So even if this mustard box is finished, eon is not finished. Something like that. The explanation is something like that. But we exactly don't know whether it's 16 miles or 1 mile. So, but even if it's 1 mile or 16 miles, even 1 mile is a very big box. Maybe billions and trillions and quadrillions of mustard seed fields in there. So 500 of them. You are just blank. You just know when you wake up, but you can't remember anything. You don't know how many Buddhas were emanated during that period of time. You don't know what happened, but you are freezed because of the that is the sort of practice you did during the stay as a human. So that's asanya. So we don't know what cumbersome means. So asanya would say that the exact same thing and go for the striking. You can say it's the striking of images, sounds, and other 5 inputs. So what is the difference between this and Aryas? So Arya has wisdom. So we are going after images because we think there are good images. In our thought process, our understanding is wrong. The fundamental understanding, or the foundation on what we build up to go for these outside objects is wrong. So that's what is called ignorance. So that's what we are understanding. Because of ignorance, we think that outside objects are actually good. Actually, they can give a blissful sensation to us. But when we know, when you understand the mechanism, we know that it's not about the outside object, but it's the vexation that we build up on our own, in our mind and body, that makes this outside object valuable and blissful. So when you know that, you tend to lose the value that is given for the outside object. So when the value was not given, as a result, you do not get attached to those objects. When you don't have value, you don't get attached. In our minds, we are not attached. For example, so you have a bin full of garbage in your house, and you have a box full of jewelry as well. So you know what is valuable and what is not. So you know that box of jewelry is valuable. So you don't know there's a string or it's actually an analogy. So it says there's a string attached to this box of jewelry in your head. So there's always an attachment, a mental or a connection that you cannot physically see. You are attached to this valuable piece of jewelry, and you are not attached to the box or a bin full of garbage. So you go for a trip. You go outside and you are enjoying, and you get this news that a robbery has happened and your place has been robbed. All of a sudden, what you remember is not the bin of garbage, but the box of jewelry. So that's how a box of jewelry, a piece of metal, can give you pain, suffering, and fear, and all the other negative aspects of negative emotions. But since you are not attached to the garbage bin, you don't have a problem whether it was stolen or not. And you don't even find that significant to think about when a robbery has happened. So it's the valuable thing that gives you pain and suffering, not the unvaluable or the things that don't have any value in them. So likewise, when you develop wisdom, what you do is you understand there's a problem of giving value to these outside objects, and giving value itself makes your life miserable. And so what you do is you see the problem and you get rid of, and you see these things as meaningless. If something gives you pain and suffering, why would you attach onto those things? And you see that you understand that this pleasure also, the blissful nature of these objects also comes from because of the deficiencies you have in your mind. When the deficiencies are met, or when the deficiencies are or treated, then only you feel this blissful sensation. When you understand that, your ignorance is reducing, and you are understanding things. When you understand this, what happens is you would not be attached to these things. So that's the thing. When you are not attached to these things, so attachment is the reason for suffering. So there are four noble truths. So we discussed about it as I remember. So dukkha arisatya, dukkha samudaya arisatya, dukkha nirodha arisatya, dukkha nirodha gamini patipada arisatya. So the second one is dukkha samudaya arisatya, which is the reason for dukkha or suffering. And the reason is attachment. So when the value is gone, you do not attach to these objects. When the attachment is gone, the reason for suffering is gone, so the suffering itself is gone. Because the result, when the causes are gone, the result cannot occur. So that's how it is explained in the mind of an Arya. So when an Arya sees an outside object, when he sees objects, images, sounds, and other five or images, sounds, smell, states, touches, and thoughts, he would not attach onto them. He would not mind seeing images. He has his eyes open, so he see things. You cannot change. Say enemy of yours come in front of you, and a friend of yours come in front of you. Now he is the enemy is also there, and the friend is also there. And when the enemy comes, you do not feel agitated, because you know that there are no bad images or good images according to your understanding. And you would not even try to change the situation, because you don't care. You would not reject the situation. You would not reject the image. You would just be there in the neutral position. Your mind would be neutral for both instances. Even it's a neutral image, you would be neutral. Even it's a positive image, which you thought positive before, you would be neutral. If it's a negative one, still you would be neutral. And you would not latch onto those things or reject those things. So when you are saying that you find it cumbersome, and when you are not you are rejecting it, then they are cumbersome in a way, because you find it peaceful when you are not creating Vitakka and Vicara out of these things. The image comes, say you are walking past a shop full of clothes, and you see a good, nice cloth which suits you, which you like, which corresponds with your views in your head, views of ignorance. So when that's the case, you start Vitakka and Vicara then and there. You start thinking in your head, I should buy this, I should save money, how much should I don't know how much is in my bag, I should check, and I should buy it right now. And you'd start creating thoughts like that in your head, and you would not stop there. You would put that into action, and you would straight away buy the dress. So that kind of image, when you're seeing an image, for an ordinary person, he just saw it, and he does not have any negative thoughts or positive thoughts about it. He just saw it. Seeing is the ability of the eye, and he would not reject the ability of the eye. He would see it as normal, and he would just does not get attached. So that's the nature of a Arya person. So he would not get attached. But say the person needs clothes. Now he finds it difficult to live with the only clothes he has. So he thinks about buying a cloth. At that point, he would actually associate with the image which he is seeing. So this is a good cloth. I should buy this. This is very durable. This qualifies my needs. So if I buy this, I can get rid of cold and warmth and all the insects and everything, and I can protect my skin and everything. So he would think like that, and he would buy the dress, and he would wear it. It's not like he would reject that also because he finds it cumbersome. No, it's not like that. He would use what is necessary to get rid of suffering. And he would not create more suffering based on avidya or ignorance. So that's the difference between the two. So when there's hunger, he would use food, but he would not use food and create more ignorance or more attachment to food because of ignorance and make food an item that can give you pain and suffering. No, that Arya person would use the food to reduce the suffering, which is hunger, which is a bodily suffering, and he would not use the food to increase his suffering, which is a mental suffering, in the other hand. So, you can increase your suffering with food. How is that? Actually what you should do is, a person with a good sense of wisdom would do is, he would take food to reduce the hunger, and that is the only purpose of food, and he would leave the rest because now he is not hungry. But a person with ignorance, what he would do is, he would also want to get rid of the hunger. Yes, that's one part, but he would get attached to the food, and because of the attachment, he would always want that particular food. So he is suffering, he is vexatious, and to get rid of the vexation, he would earn more money, he would try to attach or grab or collect that kind of food item, and that is suffering. And when because he is now attached to the taste of the food, as soon as the food particles touches with your tongue, the taste occurs. That's called what is called the Jivha Vinnana, the consciousness about taste that occurs. But as soon as it is created, it decays and dies. That's what we call as Jara Marana. So at Jara Marana, you would have to you would have to part with the blissful sensation you found so good. So you have to part with it. So you have to separate with the blissful sensation. And at the point when Jara Marana occurs, at that point you have to suffer, because say you are having a plate full of food and somebody grabs your food and run. You are still not finished. You are just started having a bite out of the plate of food. So when the person grabs, a thief comes and grab your plate of food and run. So when that happens, you are in pain, but still food is in your mouth. You feel the Jivha Vinnana, or the consciousness of taste of food is there, still there, because food is still in your mouth, but you are suffering because the plate is not in your hand. Something you have still not tasted, but still you are suffering, because you can because of avidya, you can create the neutral or a very innocent plate of food, a very harming one, and you can create avidya. Because of avidya, you create your innocent plate of food a harming one, and you harm yourself because of your ignorance. So that's what is seen by an Arya, and that person would not mind seeing things. He would not mind hearing things, but he would not mind not hearing things as well. So for if I give you an example from the literature of or Tripitaka, it says at one instance a bhikkhuni or a nun comes to meet Ananda Thero. He is the very closest to Supreme Buddha, the one who helped him in his daily activities. So comes to Ananda Thero and asks, I have a samadhi like this. I have a she has been practicing this Arya Dhamma, and she has reached a level where she does not know what samadhi is this. So he comes to Ananda Thero and asks, what is this samadhi, Ananda Thero? I have this kind of a samadhi where I can see. I have the ability to see, but I don't I don't feel like, I don't find the necessity to see. If I want, I can see, but I do not get the necessity to see. So, because in her head, she has understood that there's nothing good in the outside world to see. Because of that, she does not get that urge to see. For years also, it's like that. She says, I do not get the necessity to hear. I do not get the persuasion or urge to hear. But I am perfectly okay with my hearing. Likewise, it goes up until thoughts. So for all the 6 organs, it goes like that. For taste, for smell, and for touch. She says that I can very well feel the touch. I can very well taste. I can very well smell. But I do not get the necessity. I can think. I have the ability to think, but I do not get the urge to do that. I find it very peaceful just not doing that. So some samadhi like that. So Ananda Thero also did not understand what samadhi is this, and he asked from Supreme Buddha. And he says, this is what is called Arihat Pala Samadhi. The samadhi state you attain when you reach Arihathood. So the nun didn't knew that she has attained Arihathood. But that is the nature of Arihathood. So she was explaining the mindset of an Arihat. So that's the difference between being asanya and being enlightened. So being enlightened is all about getting rid of attachments. That is the only way how you can get rid of the suffering samsara, the repeating cycle of lives. Otherwise, what would happen is when you practice asanya, you would be freezed for 500 years, and you would start or wake up from the sleep, and you would know nothing, just like you were born yesterday from a mother's womb. Still, we do not know anything. Just like a person who was there for 500 years in the asanya plane, and there's no difference between us and a person who lived in the asanya plane for 500 years. We just don't know what was our past. So for that person and for us, it's the same. So when you think about it in the long run, there's no point in going there, because you start anyway. You start and you don't know whether you went there or not. So that's the problem. So that's the difference between this asanya plane and this the Arya understanding. If you have any questions about the explanation or anything you need to get clarified, you can ask. And we'll wait. If you can put it into the chat, and we'll wait some time, and then we'll proceed to the next one. If you do not have any questions, you can mention it as well, so we can proceed to the next one.
Yes, if you are in the process of typing, you just drop us a message that you maybe want to ask a clarification if you are going to use the chat box. If not, we will wait for some time and move on to the second. And Thero, these questions have been sent by Miss Kim on behalf of Dr. Jung, I think, because he's not able to send it. Shall we move on to the second question, Thero, or wait a little bit more?
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can anyway post in the chat. So we'll move on to the second one then. Please explain the following three methods of practice in kayanupassana, which is anapanapabba, iriyapatapabba, and sampajanaprabha. So these are actually technical terms which you can see in the Mahasatra Satipatthana Sutra, which is kayanupassana is one of the Satra Satipatthana or four Satipatthanas. There are four Satipatthanas. So one is kayanupassana, the other one is Vedananupassana, then Chittanupassana, and the finally one is Dhammanupassana. So there are 13 methods how you can practice kayanupassana. Actually, you do not need all 13 methods, and you do not need need to understand each and every 13 methods, and also how the different methods of kayanupassana and Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana. What you should understand is the theory or the mechanism behind it. So you would not go for the act of trying to remember it, but you would go for the practical use of it. So what is needed as people or as Aryans who practice or who practically trying to get rid of defilements and to attain Nibbana, what we should do is we should try to practically use it. So I would say kayanupassana, it has this this anapanapabba, iriyapatapabba, sampajanapabba, as well as there's something called Navasivatika Pabba, as I remember, and there's some other one called Dhatu Manasikara Pabba or something, and there's another one called how you would differentiate or divide your body into 32 parts, which is called, I cannot remember the name. There are different kinds of names for those things. So iriyapata means posture. So when we are using our posture, we can, even in the standing posture, even in the sitting posture, there are four main postures when it comes to posture. So one is sitting, one is standing, one is walking, and one is sleeping posture. So in all the four postures, what you would do is you would be mindful of what you are doing. So let's say you are raising your hand. So that's a change of posture. Why am I raising my hand? Think that there's a mosquito or an insect or a bug on your hand and you are trying to smash it or kill it. So your posture is not for something good. This change of posture. So you are mindful of your posture, whether you are doing raga, dvesha or moha. So at this instance, you are going for dvesha. You are trying to kill somebody. So think about you are trying to go for a walk, or you are trying to go shopping, and mainly your concern is to look for good things, nice things out of raga. So your main so now you are trying to change your posture, and you are trying to go to the mall and try to increase your aspect of raga. So when you are mindful of your posture, you would see, why am I going? What's the purpose? What's the need? So I am going to increase my raga, or increase the aspect of raga. So I should not use this posture. So you would use your posture in a way, in a restricted way, or it's just like a virus guard. So you are filtering your your actions. So when you are practicing iriyapata pabba, you would filter what is necessary and what is not necessary. Say you are trying to stand up from your chair, and you think about why am I trying to stand up from my chair, and it is to go for a Dhamma discussion. Now that's good, go for it. So you use that, you continue having that kind of posture or iriyapata. So you are trying to stand up from your chair and you think about why, and it's just to scold somebody in the next door who has turned the music on so loud you find it so irritating, and now you are going to scold that person. So at that point, your standing is not for something good, not for something that is complying or aligning with the pathway of Arya. So you would just stay there in that normal seating position, and you would think about why I got irritated, and you would just go in depth about and try to focus on your understanding. So that is what we will do when it comes to Iriyapada Pabba. So there's Sampajana Pabba. In that also you would be mindful of what you are doing. And there's Anapana Pabba. So Ana means, I think it also answers the last question. I am curious about the definition of Anapana, of Anapanasati. So Anapana means, Ana means, it's called Asasasa and Passasasa. Ana or Asasasa means things you should acquire. And Passasasa or Pana means things you should eliminate. So this, after the understanding of Dhamma, it's all about lifestyle modification. That's why it is said Samma Ajiva. Samma Ajiva means, Samma means, Sang means Raga Dvesha Moha, Ma means eliminating Raga Dvesha Moha, and lifestyle means Ajiva. So lifestyle that would eliminate Raga Dvesha Moha is Samma Ajiva. So actually this whole thing is about, when after the understanding about Dhamma, about understanding about Anicca, Dukkha and Anatta, and the value of Nibbana, a person would, the person's main aim until the Arihathood, where he has to pass Sota, Sakadagami, Anagami, to reach there, the only aim of that person would be to change his lifestyle. So a person who has just understood Dhamma would have different kinds of thoughts in his mind. He would have different kinds of habits in his personality. He might be a person who gets angry so quickly. He might be a person who is very attached to things, attached to sensual pleasures. He might be a person who would become so agitated in very small things. So these are habits. These are things that we have developed throughout our lifetime. So after understanding, the person would understand what is the rationale behind these actions, and he would understand that these are raga, these are dvesha, these are moha, and he would also understand that these are advesha, alobha, advesha, and amoha. So those are the 6 things. So the opposite of raga, dvesha, moha, which is alobha, dvesha, moha. So when that person understands the difference, then he knows what is to be done and what is not to be done. And he would go for Ana, which is Asasasa, which is acquiring things which are needed for the development of Arya pathway in yourself. So he would get rid of or eliminate the things which is Passasasa or Passasa, which are not good for the practice of Arya pathway. So these are the two, Asasasa and Passasasa. Say you find it very very blissful to remind about Dhamma, remind about Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. You recite these qualities, 9 qualities of Buddha, and 6 qualities of Dhamma and 9 qualities of Sangha. So you are very fond of doing meritorious deeds, helping others in understanding Dhamma and helping this to spread this message of Dhamma, and also spreading metta and trying to solve the conflicting things the way you can, to spread metta and kindness to others, because they are ignorant about what they are doing, what the damage they are causing themselves. So likewise, you are cultivating these good things in your life. This is asasasa, and you are getting rid of the angry aspects of your life, the attaching aspects of your life, or you go for raga, and you latch on to certain things, and because of that your defilements grow. So you understand this, and you say you are attached to certain kind of a food item. So you understand this, and you try to cultivate the Dhamma that is needed to get rid of that kind of a mindset. This is asasasa. You are asasasa, or you are acquiring the Dhamma which is needed to get rid of this bad habit, and you are getting rid of the bad habit which is pasasasa. So you are using the two concurrently. One you inhale, the other one you exhale. So that's how the Anapana Sati comes. If you know about the normal explanation of Anapana Sati, that's how it comes to being. So it's about inhaling and exhaling, inhaling good things and exhaling bad things. So it's how our body works as well. So we exhale good things, which is oxygen, which is good for the body, and we exhale the carbon dioxide, which is bad and which is not good for the body, which increases our pH value and can cause damage if the content increases excessively. So that's how that works. So that's what you need to understand with Anapanasati. But I would go and explain a bit more about kayanupassana, because kayanupassana, the real meaning of kayanupassana is kaya means accumulation. Anupassana means seeing it as anicca, dukkha and anatta. So we are trying to see things as accumulations. Actually they are. So in a point of science, we know that everything, if we go from the point of science, we know that everything is made of atoms. So it's accumulation. Everybody is made of cells. So it's accumulation. Likewise, so it's not that we get attached to a cell. It does not happen. It's not that we get attached to a single atom. It's not something that is very pleasing or attachable. But when it comes to a clump of cells, which is us, which is a person, then we attach to the person. But if we can divide the person to each and every cell, so it is very hard when it comes to a cell, but it is how it is done in kayanupassana, where you divide your body into 32 parts. You divide as kesa, loma, naka, danta, tacho, mangsang, naharu. Likewise, there are 32 parts. So in that you divide, like kesa means hair, and there's skin, there's nails, there's what do you call teeth, there's our brain, there's our kidneys, there's our what do you call lungs and heart and liver and everything. So we divide these into 32 parts, whichever you want, whichever way you want. So after dividing, you cannot find the piece that you like. But when you put it all together, you like the person, you like the fellow, you like the shape of the body and everything. But when they are put, even the skin is peeled off and put it into a box, then the likeness is gone. So you are trying to find the peace in your body that where the likeness is embedded. So there should be a part. Otherwise, what are we liking? If we there's another example where we take a bicycle. So we like the bicycle, and we say that it's my bicycle and I bought it for this much of money. But let's say you separate the bicycle into its original parts, where you get the two wheels and the tires and the main frame and the mudguards and the chain and the cogwheels and everything and the handle and everything. You put them aside. Now you did not put the bicycle aside, but you put wheels aside, you put cogwheels aside, you put chain aside, you put the main frame aside, you put brake pedals and everything aside, but not a bicycle. So if we accumulate the parts and create the bicycle again, so we put the brakes again, we put the cogwheels again, we put the wheels again, we put the tires and the main frame and everything again, and then we can see the bicycle again. But we did not put a piece called bicycle at last. But bicycle, we can see the bicycle in the other side. And when we separate it again, we can see the parts, we can name all the parts. There's no part called bicycle. And in the other side also, there's nothing. All the things are separated into parts, but there's nothing called bicycle. So bicycle is it's actually it's a trick or something not real, in the sense it is something we have created in our mind because we see everything in place. When everything is attached in that specific way, we call that a bicycle. Likewise, this example, we should put it into our bodies. So when everything is put in place, just we have to put the brain in the right place, we have to put the bones in the right place, skin in the right place, teeth in the right place, the nails in the right place, and when everything is put in the right place, you see a person. But it is actually organs, which are rotting organs. So they do not have value. So that's why you cannot find the valuable piece among them. So this is how you would see an accumulation as anicca, dukkha and anatta. So you do not see the valuable part or value in these items when you divide them into smaller pieces. You can do it for everything else as well. You can do it for music as well. Say, you get the beat of the drum, you get the sound of the violin, you get the strumming of the guitar, and you get the voice of the person. And when everything is put together, you see a nice and valuable and good music. But when you separate it one by one, you do not see that much of interest. You do not find that much of interest when only the drum beat is there. When the violin part is isolated and heard, no magic. Magic is gone. You can even divide the violin part into small notes, and then everything is gone. But they are the things that compose that music. So when all put together, the mirage occurs. You can call it a mirage. That's a better word. So when everything is put together, a mirage is formed. So we attach to the mirage and look for something which actually is not there. That's the problem. So that's how you practice kayanupassana. So food also. you do not, if you prepare some food item, let's say you prepare a sandwich, you get bread. Why do you put all together when you prepare a sandwich? You eat the salt separately, you eat the pepper separately, you eat the butter separately, and you eat the the pieces of bread separately. If you do that, you do not find that you would still feel the taste of pepper, taste of salt and everything, but you would not find it that delicious. But when everything is put together to create a nice and good sandwich, then it is very tasty. It is very, very true for meat. You take a raw piece of meat and try to eat it, but when the same raw piece of meat is seasoned and cooked, then you like it. But we do not change anything. We take all the things separately and we try to eat it. No magic, no mirage. So this is a way of practicing your thinking. You see things as accumulations in kayanupassana. So then that is about iriyapata as well. That is about anapana as well. So you see them as combinations and you try to be mindful of what you are doing. So you see that. So you can put it in that way. You can understand what iriyapata means. So there are different meanings when it comes to the way you are thinking, the aspect you are seeing the kayanupassana. So when you are seeing from a different angle, you see a different aspect how you can practice kayanupassana. So when we are seeing from a different angle, you can see that kayanupassana. Let's say you are changing your posture. So actually someone is dancing. So it's not that appealing, or it is not that blissful if somebody dance, or if only one person is moving limbs without music. So we remove the music track, and we just removed all the people surrounding the main dancer, and he is just moving limbs, and we do not find it very appealing, very, very good. So when everything is put together, when accumulation is there, so there are few people doing the same thing at the same time for a good piece of music, where they do it in synchronization for the beat. So then that's beautiful. That becomes beautiful. That becomes eye-catching, and that becomes a thing that increases or drags the samsara. That becomes a bait that the worldly beings would go for. That would increase their suffering. So, but when they are divided, when it is divided into small actions, small parts, but actually the rationale behind it is actually those small actions only created this big whole scenery. It's not that we are tricking our mind. It is about we seeing about the reality, or the real nature of it. What we are tricked, or what we are seeing now, it is a mirage, and it's not the right thing. That's why we are suffering. So that's what we are understanding with kayanupassana. So if you have any questions regarding kayanupassana and these two questions, you put on the chat box, you can ask about that as well. So there's another question as well. The understanding of existence is the Four Noble Truths. And can we call it meditation? Actually, for this question, I'll have some time for you to answer any questions regarding the past 2 or 3 questions. After that, we'll move on to this one.
Thero, since we have received the response saying that they will ponder and listen to the sermon, we can then maybe go to the question which is saying understanding of existence. Is this the Four Noble Truths, and can we call it meditation?
Actually, I think it's better if you can elaborate on the question. So I would give my answer first, and if there's any, if I understood it, the question in a wrong manner, you can inform it later. So the understanding of existence, it's not actually something like that. It is actually understanding about ignorance. It's actually when you have in Four Noble Truths, it says, so it is called what do you call Chaturarya Satya. Chaturarya Satya means Four Noble Truths. So there are 4 parts. First one is Dukkha Arya Satya, Dukkha Samudaya Arya Satya, Dukkha Nirodha Arya Satya, and Dukkha Nirodha Gamini Patipada Arya Satya. So Dukkha Arya Satya means the suffering. It is not the suffering that is felt by your body or felt by your or the mental suffering. It is the suffering created out of avidya, out of ignorance. So there are sufferings that those sufferings, mental and physical, we cannot get rid of. That's a vipaka. Now we know what vipaka is. So that's a vipaka. So if somebody is harmed, let's say someone comes and hits somebody, so that the person who got hit feels pain, and that's vipaka, and that's physical pain, and based on that he has a element of mental pain as well. But after that, he creates another pain based on avidya. This person is my enemy. Everybody was seeing when I got hit. It was a very it was very shameful for me, and everything adds up on that, and he would create another pain based on that. So this is actually the Four Noble Truths are what we discussed so far during these sermons actually. So it's all about ignorance, understanding what is ignorance. And so when we know what is ignorance, you know what Four Noble Truths are. So when there's Dukkha Arya Satya, you know what is suffering. And suffering, and for this suffering, the cause for this suffering is attachment. Why would someone attach? Because they see value in things. So what is value in things, or what do we call it? That is called avidya. When you have avidya, you give value to things. When you give value to things, you attach to things. When you get attached to things, you develop the suffering. And that suffering is discussed or described in Dukkha Satya. And the reason for that suffering is described in Dukkha Samudaya Satya, which is the attachment. And the way how to eliminate that cause, which is attachment, is the only way to get rid of that suffering is to get rid of that cause of suffering, which is attachment. And that is called Dukkha Nirodha Satya. So to get rid of the emanation of suffering, what you need to do is you need to get rid of attachment without a trace. So to get rid of attachment without a trace, you need to get rid of avidya without a trace. So those two go hand in hand. So for that, the pathway, which is the last bit, which is the last component of Arya or the Chaturarya Satya, or the Four Noble Truths, which is Dukkha Nirodha Gamini Patipadara Satya, which is the pathway. And it consists of eight segments, 8 components: Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa, Samma Vaca, Samma Kamman, Samma Ayup, Samma Vayam, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. So you have this pathway in order to do the first 3. Actually to get rid of the these attachments you have. So it's a very easy and very straightforward pathway where you can practice in an easy way by trying to get rid of the bad habits, like we discussed in Asasasa and Pastasasa. We try to acquire good things into our life, good thinking pattern, the Arya way of thinking. We do the same normal things that we did before, but we would stop doing all the bad, unethical and immoral actions, which are the 10 immoral actions. We would just stop doing things that are aligned with raga, dvesha and moha, but we would do all the good things that is aligning with alobha, dvesha and amo, which is the opposite. You would by that we would change our actions, change our words, and change our thoughts. By doing that, we would change our lifestyle. So that's all about the pathway. So when you know about these 4 components, you know about 4 Noble Truths. But you don't need actually to know in words, in technical terms. What you need to know is how to practically use them, how to reduce your suffering in day-to-day life, how to get rid of problems, how to get rid of anger, how to get rid of these kinds of attachments, mischievous behavior and everything in your life. So if you could do that, you would find it very peaceful and very blissful in a way. When you get rid of suffering, you can, in other words, you can say that it's peaceful because you are getting rid of suffering. Say you have been doing a very hard work. You are submitting a paper or something. You are planning to do a lecture or something. You are very very busy because of it, and you finally got over with it, and you did it, and you are fine now. When you are going home, you feel very peaceful and you feel very calm. It is not something you are experiencing out of your ears, out of your eyes, out of your nose, out of your tongue, or out of your body. It is something like, because the pain is, or the busyness, or the suffering, or the hectic environment is still not there, or it is gone because the job is done now. You feel a very peace and quiet, peacefulness in your soul. That is what is required. It's a very it's an example of what you would feel. It's not exactly what you would feel, but it's an example of what you would feel when you get rid of these attachments, get rid of these sufferings. The lesser the suffering become, the more blissful you would be in the aspect of peacefulness, in the aspect of calmness. So you would learn, and you would know, you would learn how to enjoy this peacefulness, which is actually about Nibbana. You are actually experiencing a relative Nibbana there. And this is what you would cultivate on. And this is what would fulfill, or this is what would complete until to the end. And at the end, it is full. It's about zero suffering. Zero suffering in the sense, you don't have any suffering because of avidya. But you would anyway get sufferings because of your bodily pains, because of hunger, because of the coldness of the environment, or the warmth of the environment, because someone hitting you, that you would feel. That also would end at the end when you attain, or when you die at the end of this lifetime. And the repeating cycle would end because you don't have any attachment to anywhere in the three worlds, or we call it Kama Loka, Rupa Loka, and Arupa Loka. Those are the 30. There are 31 planes which were created because of our actions, because of our likenesses, because of our karmic energy that was created. So this energy which is created creates 31 planes in this universe, in this what you call we can call it a galaxy. Actually, it is not the correct word, but it's something like that. So it creates we can call it solar system, but it's not the correct word, but something like accumulation there also. So for that kind of accumulation, it has 31 planes, which was actually created by our actions, by our likenesses, and by our wrong or distorted views about this, or distorted views or avidya. That is what creates the planes. And since you are not attached to any of them at the end, because you have gotten rid of all the attachment, you would not create another lifetime or a life, since you are not attached. So this would be the end of it. And you would also, because of that, at the end, you would get free from all the bodily sufferings as well. Hunger, pain, and everything as well. So that's about it, when you understand about Four Noble Truths. So if you have any questions about this, I don't know whether I have understood the question right, about the last one. If my understanding about the question was incorrect, then you can put that also in the chat and try to clarify it as well.
I believe, Thero, that they have all given sadhukara or acknowledged including the one who raised the question. So
Yeah.
unless maybe we can invite for any last questions to be presented, Thero, since we're getting close to about 2 hours. But if there is a question, we can take, right, Thero?
Yeah.
So if
So
you have...
to give a brief explanation about what we should do with Arya Dhamma. So actually, it's not about trying to understand the terminology or trying to understand the difficult words or some things like that, because it would actually help you, yeah, but it should not be your priority. You should try to understand more and more about Dhamma, more and more about your trying to understand, increase your vocabulary and try to increase your, I don't know whether you try to or not, whether it would be easier if you would understand Sinhala or try to learn Sinhala, but that would be an extreme goal. But however, it would help you to increase your understanding as well. But it should not be a primary goal, because when you make it your primary goal, the real primary goal, which should be to get rid of your suffering, and which should be to focus on the understanding, not about the learning. So learning is one thing, understanding is one thing. So what you should do during these sermons is you try to understand, you try to dig deep into what is being said in order to get rid of suffering. So your main aim or main goal should be to get rid of your sufferings in your life, or what is being said as Nibbana is Ragakaya, Dveshakaya and Mohakaya. So you should be devoid of Raga, devoid of Dvesha and devoid of Moha. So that should be your goal. That should be what you should aim for during this sermon. But when you get problems, when you get new words, when you get new questions about what is this and what is that, yes, of course you should ask them as well. But then I could help you to, because there's no way to get this new aspect of understanding through a book, because there are very few sources in this world to explain this kind of a way of teaching. So we can help you with that, but what I am emphasizing on is you should always have your priorities right. Have the first priority to get rid of suffering, to get rid of Raga, Dvesha and Moha, and try to change your lifestyles so that you can get rid of suffering and Raga, Dvesha, Moha. And in the way, when you get in that, when you're going that pathway, when you get questions, when you get problems about words and about what is this and how it is being applied here and there, then you should ask those technical questions as well, because it would anyway help you. It would help you to broaden your understanding. But when you make it the primary goal, you would not see, or you would not catch the depth of the discussion, because you are more focused on finding answers to the meanings, or we are finding meanings for the words. So it becomes a learning experience, but it would blunt your wisdom. Wisdom is one thing, learning is another. So understand the difference between the two and try to increase your wisdom, and that would increase your learning capacity as well. And learning would also get increased, because now you know what you are, you have practiced what you are understood. So even though you do not know the words, you would still be able to explain it to some other person as well if you have the wisdom. But it's not about the word. See, we use Pali right now. We might have used different languages. See, you know that Afghanistan was a Buddhist country. They have Burmese Buddhist statues. Thailand is a Buddhist country, and in these countries there should have been arihats. So they must have talked. They must have used different languages at those places. So they must have understood, they must have given the message somehow to those areas, and the people in those areas also must have understood what is being told. So it's not about the terminology or everything. It's all about the wisdom. It's all about the understanding that matters. So that would be my message to you all.
Thero, with that then, if there are no further questions, there's an acknowledgement for today's teachings. Shall we proceed to a short Anumodana, Thero, or would you like to take another question?
Either way is okay for me.
Okay, so
if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we would end up with an Anumodana. And I think you should you might have problems with this Anumodana, and because we are doing it now for few days. Last week or last time also we did one, and the one before that also we did one, and you might not understand the theory or mechanism behind it. So if you have any questions, we can discuss it on the next week about how this doing meritorious deeds help you as well as others in the universe, and also your dead and living relatives, and also everybody, and your loved ones, and people who have helped you, and everybody, and also how it helps you as well in the aspect of understanding Dhamma.
So yes, Thero, I think if we probably would be a good thing, maybe I'll bring it up as a question in the next discussion, because I think, as you correctly said, we've done about 3. It would be good to talk about it and why and how, as you mentioned. So if you have one last question, you may post. We'll give you a little time to do that. If not, we will close today off with a small Anumodana as well. I think we also have to greatly acknowledge our the Korean participants here. They are, I think it's past their midnight, almost past 12:30. So I think it shows great effort and appreciation, and in journey of finding the Dhamma. I think while acknowledging your presence as well as your efforts and putting up questions here for the benefit of everyone, we thank you very much. I think with that, Thero, I would like you to maybe close the session with a short Anumodana. Over to you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So today we discussed about how we could understand and how we could proceed in practicing the pathway, or practicing Arya Tanga Magga, which is the ultimate pathway to Nibbana. So we discussed how we could practice different ways, which is like kayanupassana. So these actions, which are thoughts, words, and as well as bodily actions that were used during these 2 hours, were for a worthy cause, or were to attain Nibbana, were to understand the reality of the world. And you know that when an action is done with avidya or with kusala mula, which is the Arya way. When it is done, meritorious power is generated. When the meritorious power is generated in the pathway of Arya, it would definitely help you to complete the pathway. It is how you got so far as well. So while you are practicing Dhamma in this dreadful and repeating samsara, you might have found it interesting to abide to Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, to practice and to honor Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. So as a result of that, you have created results today. You have reached an extremely rare opportunity where you have found the true Dhamma to end all the suffering in this world. So today also you created an immeasurable amount of meritorious power, and may all those meritorious power help you to remove all the hindrances and obstacles in the Arya pathway, revealing up the eightfold pathway, which is the ultimate pathway to Nibbana. And may all of you able to comprehend or complete your wisdom, attaining the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Accept this blessing with the sadhaka.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
And while you are listening to this, while you are practicing Dhamma, you might have created immeasurable amounts of meritorious deeds. And there are people who has been our past relations, who has helped us during this samsaric journey. People like our parents, teachers, and people who showed us what is right and what is wrong when we were lost in darkness. There are people who helped us in various ways, people who created houses for us, people who created workplaces for us, people who are engaging with us during the samsaric journey, such as spouses, children, and relations and neighbors and all of them. And also let us remind all the people who were hurted by us. We were doing various unethical deeds during the samsaric journey. We were killing people, we were hurting them, we were stealing from them, we were having unethical relationships with them. And we were doing all the bad things, lying, slandering, using harsh words, meaningless words, being malicious, being mischievous and greedy, having distorted and wrong views about world and teaching them others to as well, and blinding them about their views. And we have done many of these things when we did not have any insight of what we are doing. So let us remind all of them as well with metta and kindness. And let us remind ourselves, let us determine that we are not going to do those kind of bad things again. We will refrain from doing those bad things again. And let us remind all the people that were harmed and hurted by us. And also, let us remind all the people who made this Zoom discussion a possibility or make it a success. There were people who created these platforms and people who are behind this, who paid for these sessions and everything. And let us remind all of them as well. And let us remind all the people, all the deities and gods, and all the Brahmas in all the 6 realms of gods and 20 planes of Brahma. And let us remind all the living beings in the universe as well. Let us spread this meritorious power to them as well. May they refrain from doing sins. May they engage in doing meritorious deeds. May they be happy about today's discussion. May they find Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha as pleasing. And may they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana, ultimately understanding the ultimate pathway to Nibbana, which is the eightfold pathway, and may they attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Transfer this meritorious power to all of them with a sadhukara.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
So today we discussed about mainly about questions regarding the practice of Dhamma you had, and we would have the next session the next Thursday. So if you have any more questions, you can put it in the chat, or we can then have them arranged, or it would be easier for us to have this discussion. And it is very good that you put questions for others also to understand what is the true meanings of Dhamma. And because of that, you have given an opportunity for others also to listen to Dhamma. So it would be a very kind thought, or a thought full of metta, that you are allowing others also to increase their understanding on the area that you are also lacking. So that also, remind that also, so that it would be very it would help you to increase the understanding, as well as to increase the amount of meritorious power that we would generate. Abhivadana sees Nichang Vada Puchaino, Chatharo Dhamma Vadanti, Ayuvan Sukambalang, Ayurarogi Sampati, Sabga Sampati, Mevacha, Toni Nibbana Sampati, Minati Samichatu. May everyone attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.
On behalf of everyone in the group today, I would like to take this opportunity to give our immeasurable thanks to the Venerable Dhammadassi Thero for giving us the explanations as well as preaching of the Dhamma today. And also thanks to all the participants here for raising those questions. And we would also like to remind that while I was not able to record this on Zoom, I have still recorded it on a third-party audio. So I will be putting the audio into the usual folder for your re-listening, or for you to re-go through it. If anyone wants to use it elsewhere, maybe you can check with us before you do that. Just a reminder there. I will repost the link for those who may have joined us recently for your access and for you to re-look at it again. With that being said, we look forward to connecting and continuing with the Dhamma discussion next week. Thank you very much. Theruvan Saranai to all. Theruvan Saranai, everyone.
Theruvan Saranai, everyone.
Saranai.